Hey guys, this is RealScope82 and this is some more Gran Turismo Sport and last week's weekly race on the Red Bull Ring. It's a bit of a boulevard of broken dreams for me, as you see here. Oh, starting in pole and botching it in the last corner. And that ended as a second place for me. Let's have another one. Again from pole. Can we hold it this time? I'm not sure, because this is where we meet the McLarens first time. That was a glorious punt, you douchebag. Let's have it from another angle, because you can really hear when he kindly nudged me. Ooh, that's some heavy-duty contact. Douchebag. I was not ready to give up at this point though, and I was so close to the second and first place. Maybe even to make a move in this first corner? Yeah, indeed. That was a very clean overtake, and this point was, come on, I can do this. I can still do this. But I'm not very sufficient in taking a good defensive line through the harder turns, which meant that I opened the line for the Mitsubishi Lancer. He goes on the inside, and I have some contact, and I lose it here after another bit of side contact. And this right there, that gave me a 3-second penalty, I believe it was. Might have been 5, but I think it's a 3-second penalty. I had no control over the sliding, but still gave me the penalty. And here I am sentenced. Oh, that was bad, so bad. And I'm down to 4th. Some nasty shit right here. And I tried to stick to the guy in 3rd place, but there's no winning that fight, especially not when you take the corner like I did. So a 4th place in this race for me. Ugh. Another race here, again from pole. Ooh, look at that dive bomber, and he tries to shut me off, but he gets ghosted. The German guy in the Nissan GTR didn't want to quit though. So at this point here, we actually did have a pretty nice fight through these corners. I managed to get out ahead though. But can I keep it? Because, you know me, I don't do defensive lines very well. So wonder what will happen in the next corner. Because I freaking opened the door here. And sadly though, he turns out as I turn in, and I lose my shit. And I just fall down like a rock through the field of Group 3 cars here. And, this was not a bright moment for me. Down into 9th, but I stick with it, and I managed to pass a couple of cars that had penalties and whatnot. And here are 2 guys with driver errors. And I'm back into 5th. But can we keep this place at least then, after this horrific race? But no, sadly no. This turn, coming out of the soft middle section of the track, killed me this race so hard, because 1 lap later, what was that? I completely lose my shit again. And down into 10th, and that's basically the end of that race. But let's get into the next one in my real Scope 82 Beetle. And this is where we meet more McLaren GTR F1s. And we have a nice little budge there in another camera angle where we have the chase cam. You can actually see and you can hear the punt if you full out the volume. But I had a hard time with that Mitch Cree or McCree or whatever his freaking name is. But I managed to stick with it into 4th. And at this point, he was fighting with the Swede up ahead. And I thought maybe I can get something out of that fight. Take the corner in a okay fashion. The Swede tried to shut me off maybe, or just get back on track, I don't know. But he gets ghosted and I get into 3rd. I'm back in pursuit of, that was a naughty boy, and I had to admit that was kind of on purpose, because he did fuck me over, and I was kind of angry at him at this point. I could have kept my line, and that would have been better for me because I lost 3 seconds to the penalty, and look at that. He actually had no purpose in going that way around, and I did try to shut him off, but again he gets the benefit of the ghosting. But I end in 5th, and now let's move on to a new race. Let's start a winning culture here, shall we? This is my R8 Le Mans edition, and it's been kitted out with a real Scope 82 livery. And we start in 4th. And in this one we actually have a nice little match with the McLovin right in front of us. This is also where we start racing a little cleaner, and the guys around us do as well. Here we go, we managed to get into the slipstream of McLovin and leave the Nissan in our tailwind. At this point I tried to keep up with McLovin, but I couldn't. But I think it's about a lap or 2 later, I do catch up with him. And we go at it once more. Right as I catch up with McLovin, he did have a penalty though, which meant 2nd place for me. And I open up a little gap, but sadly that doesn't last for long. Because on the last lap, McLovin is right there in my tailpipe. Does try to the very end to get the 2nd spot from me, but no such luck was had by him, and I get the 2nd place from 4th. And here we go, start another racing pole, and I rather quickly open up a nice little gap, and to be quite honest, not much happens here in this race after the first couple of corners, because they never get close to me, and I drive a fairly decent race. Of course, until the end, because this is where I nearly fucked myself over again. But I managed to recover and drive over the finish line as the winner. Let's get started on the last race of this video though, because we start in 2nd place behind Jean-Michel Jarre, but no, that's not his name, but he was in the Porsche, and we did have a very nice first turn, and I actually get a good first turn all the way through this race, which does help me quite a bit. But we have a nice match, me and the Porsche. I do kind of botch it here on the first lap, which meant that he actually grabbed the 1st place from me. So the hunt is on once again. I did manage to get well within slipstream range down the straight. And this is where the good first corner comes in handy once more, because he goes wide once more. He does not give up though, and with my lack of defensive lines, I do fuck up this turn 2 quite a lot, because not only does the Porsche go through, also the dude in the Viper. So we're down to 3rd place now, which just isn't good enough. I did manage to stay close enough for some magic in turn 1. And this was probably the best one of them all. And we go back into 2nd, surpassing the Dutch. Now the hunt was in for the Polish dude in the Porsche. I did have a bit of a gap now to close up to Michael Giacchino in the Porsche, so we'll skip to the next lap at turn 2, where I had closed that gap and going in for the move, but sadly he was braking a bit earlier than I expected, so I did give him a little nudge. We were both very much down in speed, but he goes too soon on the accelerator and loses it. Sad way to end this good race between us, but I have to admit that it was more likely than not my fault that he did lose the shit because he got that little punt, which is a sad way to get the victory. To be honest, I would have rather gotten it cleanly, but none of the other guys were even close to me, so got away with the win. And this is a picture from another win, which I forgot to get the replay from. But if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, maybe subscribe for more Gran Turismo Sport in the future.